we are at Wizard World 2015 in Chicago, Illinois, and I have the crew of the Endworld Fire and Ice, and Tom Keesee is the writer-producer. Could you step up in front of the camera, Tom?
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you.
Very cool. I just saw your show. Awesome. And you folks are out of Ohio, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Columbus, Ohio.
So how do you, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came up with this?
Well, it started as just a group of us. Where would you like me to avert my eyes? Towards the camera?
It's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to look at you. So it started as
My sympathy.
Yeah. It started as just basically a drama team of us young guys that had done a bunch of other stuff together in Columbus. And I had this idea to make something that was impactful, something for our community that would teach kids that to make their world a better place, and kind of incorporate all my nerdy friends who didn't really have an avenue for their talents. So we got together and we started to kind of meld ideas and stuff, and I wrote the story, and the first words I wrote was, "In the beginning there was a lifeless rock." I just sat in my room, typed it out, and all of a sudden that beginning video, or a beginning intro with the dance, was the first thing I wrote, and it kind of tells the whole story about the ice and the fire, and there's this whole universe. So that's kind of how it happened.
So tell me a little bit about the Fire and Ice universe.
Okay, well, where would you like me to start? This probably, if I start lore jumping, there could be hours, but basically...
Couple minutes.
Okay, a couple minutes. So...
Reader's Digest version.
The Reader's Digest version, there were these creatures called the Flame, the burning ones of Salem. They lived in this place called Salem,
and that would be the lovely lady?
These immortals right here, and the lovely lady right here.
Is she one of the flames?
She is. She represents the flame in the dance.
The flame.
She was the flame. She represents the embers that continue to burn, the eternal fire. So not the eternal fire from The Witcher, though that's a different thing. So so basically the flame voyaged from Salem into what's called the Void, and the Void was where this dark creature named Croatian lived, and essentially they separated for the first time the darkness and the light, and they seeded the planets. The circles of time were drawn. So these guys right here basically created the worlds. They are immortal beings. This is not the form they take when they're in Salem, but they took this form to leave their place voyage. So basically, after that happened, darkness was bound into this place called the Void, or the After Realm. But as we know, every good story, the enemy has to come back. The darkness always lingers on the edge of light. So the darkness came back and manipulated these people called the elementals, who were created by the flame. The elementals, that's where we get our ice from, because the elementals used to be the water elementals, which they were good, they created life. But then, after the darkness basically deceived them, they became the ice. And there's this creature called Valnius, which we didn't get to see today, but he basically rules the ice, and he created them. He's the ice lord. And since then, they've been attacking all of the planets that the flame created as a way to get back at their master, at the one that basically originally kicked the darkness out. So you got this big battle, all these planets, and basically it's kind of like the Borg. The ice will take planets over one at a time and build their army. And they use this device called the Endworld device, which is why it's called Endworld. And it literally is the souls of the planets being captured inside of this beast. So they use that to destroy planets, and these guys have to try to stop that. So that's where our story picks up. They find this young guy named Virtus, who doesn't realize that he is a wielder, someone that can carry the fire that was passed on from these guys. And it's his job to save the world and save the planet from the ice. Because they have laws, just like Star Trek. There are laws. They can't just go in and just kill ice everywhere, or kill indigenous races that are being absorbed by the ice. They always incorporate the people from that planet, because their law dictates that they have to use the authority of the man that was created on that planet. So that's kind of how the whole logistics work, and that's pretty much it. There's a lot of battles, a lot of history, 3,000 years worth of war before they ever even got to where we are in the production. So that's a lot, but...
And a lot of theatrical productions, to call them productions is they're just simple, straightforward theatrical productions. You encompass several different media. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have a problem. It's called being a FOMO, which is fear of missing out. So I want to be involved in everything. So what we did is, if we're going to tell a story, we didn't want to just be bound. I did a lot of stage acting when I was young. I was in Sound of Music and The Music Man and all those kind of things. I didn't want to be bound and conformed to just those avenues of telling a story. But my background was in stage. So then bringing everyone together, I learned video through the process of doing it. We incorporate film, we incorporate dance, we incorporate music, because I also make music and produce music. So all those things are in there, fighting. And the other reason I think we do that is because we want to incorporate everyone. Because that's what WizardCon's all about, right? We have our filmmakers, we have our dancers, our actors, our cosplayers. So we kind of incorporate everyone into making our show. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Where do you want to go with this? Las Vegas?
Yes,
everywhere?
I would love to go like Broadway, Las Vegas. I would love Cirque du Soleil level type stuff, where we have all kinds of people from all over the world and bringing their talents and telling a story. Because I think the difference between what we do and what other people do is that, like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra, is that they have great music and they do tell a story, but they don't have as much drama. Or you may have something like Cirque du Soleil that does a lot of dance, but they don't quite have maybe as much of a continuous story. So my idea is to basically streamline all of that and have one giant story in a universe where all these artistic people can come and add their stuff into it. So that's what we do. From here, I've written almost five books now that have not been released because I haven't let them go yet. But so we've got novels. We have guys that helped us make a video game, which you can check out. It's Flameborn Shine, which is about this little guy here. So we're having all kinds of different people incorporate their talents. We had a buddy of mine help make the game. So comic books. I just started working with a comic book guy right before I left Columbus. So looking to do comics, just looking to basically do all kinds of stuff. In talks with some people in Japan, because I love an anime. I just want to do it all. So
everything.
Yes. Well, you got to start somewhere, and that's why we're here. So.
Very cool. So another question for you.
Okay.
I like to close my interviews with giving the interviewee the opportunity to tell something weird and wonderful about themselves, or in your case, your show, your cast, your performance. Something interesting that your fans might not know about.
Well, there was a warrant out for my arrest one time.
Really?
That's not really that weird, though. Yeah, what it was is I ended
interesting.
up not... Yeah, interesting. I ended up not paying tickets that I thought I paid. I was sending them to the wrong address, so someone was getting my checks.
Right.
And then the police put out a warrant because I went to go get my license renewed, and they said, you can't renew your license because actually there's a warrant out for your arrest. So that was something that happened. But something weird about me, I'm very deep, I'm contemplative. I talk to myself in the mirror. Sometimes there's always a song going on in my head. That's a pretty weird thing. Depends on the song, it'll just constantly change, but there's always a song in my head. So right now there's a Drake song in my head, which is kind of interesting. But there's always something going on in here. So that's something weird about me, and it's kind of wonderful because that's where Fire and Ice came from. Mm-hmm. I was actually on a plane, and I was sitting there reading a magazine about viral marketing, and I had an idea for Fire and Ice. And I literally just sat there. I don't even remember the plane flight. It was about 3 hours long. I literally just sat straight, and my mind was just connecting dots. So that's where the idea for the story came from, and I just started drawing star charts. It was like something from
Really?
Yeah.
So you got the stars charted out for this.
I have star charts. I have all kinds of things. It's unreal how much work I've put into something we haven't even done anything with yet.
So maybe it's not so much of a production and more of an obsession?
Yeah, it could be, yes. It could be. I am obsessed with my world. It's true. It is true, because everyone's accepted in this world. And that's the difference between our world and the real world sometimes. So I am obsessed with a world where everybody's equal.
Accepted, except some are
there is always
frozen.
Yes, well, there is always an evil, right? There's no perfect world, but everyone's accepted. Even the ice. That's in my story. The deeper you go, the ice were actually good because Valnius was actually one of the highest creations of the flame, and then he turned. So they don't even want to destroy him. That's because he's an immortal. He's basically Blaze's son because Blaze created him. Then they battled for 3,000 years and he banished him. So he can't even kill him because he's an immortal. So my story is very much that way, where there's always redemption for every character, because we're all one bad decision away from becoming the worst version of ourselves. So every character can become evil and every character can become good based on the actions and the decisions they make. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Tom, could you introduce your crew here?
Sure. This right here is the character Shine, but Jeremiah Williams is in here, and he does basically a lot of the video production that we do. This guy right here, he was, how old were you when you started doing it? 15? He was 15 years old. A lot of videos you see, he made all that stuff, did all the effects, a lot of that stuff, and he was 15 years old. So we've been doing it for 5 years. He's 19 now, so he's just about, so it's been just about, yep. So he was probably a little younger than 15. Then we have over here, this guy Blaze. He's the guardian of the universe, and inside is Josh Luby. And he came in actually, our original Blaze had hurt his back. And it was what, last year? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
This is year 3.
This is year 3. So 3 years ago, he stepped in, he just walked in the room, and we had never really done that much together or anything. He was just somebody that I knew. He walked in and I was like, wait a second. I was like, stand there. I was like, you're Blaze. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, you're Blaze. And ever since then, he just picked the part up. He's taken it, added more to it, and really made it his own. And I mean, this armor is not easy to walk in.
I can
You can
imagine.
talk about it if you want. If you
Yeah. Being here at the con, it's real important to take breaks because the armor itself is heavy. The axe, I mean, at least 30, 40 pounds. So sometimes it's long days, but it's fun when you do the production and you see everybody's faces and you know how they've enjoyed it and how it's impacted them.
So that's awesome. And I'm like, I would not be able to be in that armor. I'm too claustrophobic. So that's why I need people to help. That's why we have a good team. We're over here is Ghost. This is Nathan Wooten. He's been involved from the very beginning, and he's also a crowd favorite. Ghost is like the Batman of our universe. So he also helps with the game team. He helped design the game and work on the game. So, and all these guys are just friends of mine, you know.
Very cool.
So, and then we've got this old guy right here. Dylan, sorry, I almost called you Corey Dale, which that's not true. This is Dylan. This is you snuck in. We had an age limit. I was like, we can only have people that are what, 13 and up? 13. And he came in when you were 11? He snuck in when he was 11. And I didn't know that he was not 13, but he put in more work than anybody else, and he basically was determined to do it.
Yes.
So that's why he's here with us today, and he does an excellent job. And then we have Miss Caitlin over here, and she's been with us since the beginning too. If you want to talk about, she's got an extensive dance background, and I don't remember how you actually came. It seems like you've just always been there since the beginning.
I think I just kind of got dragged into it and then stayed because I just loved it so much. So.
Very cool.
So this is just a little piece of our team. There's a lot of us. There's like probably 50 of us. So there's a lot of us, and we're looking to do Fire and Ice 2. We've got multiple productions we're working on. You can go to endworldfireandice.com to check us out, to schedule shows. You can check out our game and like us on Facebook.
What was that on Facebook again?
Endworld Fire and Ice on Facebook.
Endworld Fire and Ice on Facebook. And who is this on the floor here?
Hey guys, I'm Ashton Hicks, and I just started with Endworld Fire and Ice last year. I really love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And from Wizard World, Chicago, this is the word for you. Thank y'all.